We're Miriam and Tanguy, and this is Mighty Van. In 2019 we bought a van. We spent a year self-converting it, with no previous building experience whatsoever. We turned it into a beautiful, cozy home. In this build series, we'll show you how we did it. From woodworking to electrical, we'll show it all. Hoping we can help you, or inspire you, build a home on wheels and live new adventures on the road. This needs to go there. This needs to go in there. And this needs to go in there. And this needs to go at the end of this. Does it feel like I know what I'm doing? It's because I don't. First session of work on the electrical. This is actually a requirement for Miriam to move forward on the kitchen because we want to put sticking tiles on this wall, but to do so we need to have the plugs already in place. Otherwise we're gonna have to cut through the sticking thing, and that's not very convenient, first, and second, it's not gonna be pretty. So I prefer doing the holes in the wall before putting the sticking tiles on the wall. So this is what's gonna come out of the inverter. This is not 12 volts. So for that I bought some wall outlets, the regular outlets that you can find in your home, or in any home for that matter. And I think I got everything I needed to put them in our wall, our van wall. What I'm gonna be using is some Romex cable, which is basically some cord extension, an extension cord, but without anything at the end. So you see it's just wires inside, and the other side is the same thing. I'm gonna be using GFCI outlets. It needs to be that kind of outlets for homes, but they specify that it's required when there's water around to avoid shocks and possible outages. The National Electrical Code and Canadian Electrical Code requirements, it meets them. I don't know if those codes apply to VANLIFE and to van conversion. I don't think so, but still, I prefer being cautious, taking all the necessary precautions. All I know is that this is the correct amperage and voltage for our system, because on one end we're gonna have our electric cooktop, and on the other end we're gonna have the blender. The cooktop is 1800 watts for the maximum power, and the blender is, I think, 1500 watts max. This is 15 amps and 125 volts. So we should be good, hopefully. Otherwise the van will burn down, that's fine. I probably won't show this to Miriam. I need to get cracking, but first, in order to run the cable through our tubes here, I need to clean up the mess in the garage, because this is where the cable is gonna go out. This tube ends here. I don't know if you've ever seen the garage, what it looks like right now. There you go. Lots of boxes here. This is our mattress. This is a lot of wood that we have left. This is a piece of countertop that we still have. All the boxes and the electrical stuff are here. Inverter, batteries. It's a mess, but I cleared the way to get access to these guys, which go into the kitchen. I'm just gonna have to run the Romex cable into the tube, and hopefully it'll end up over there. Let's see. Progress update. No progress. I've been trying to fit the cable inside this tube right here, which is a cheap tube from IKEA, which is actually split. You may have seen in our previous videos that Miriam did a good job of taping the tubes so it didn't open up like this, but unfortunately that's not enough. And I have no way of running the cable from here to the other end. The cable gets loose behind the wall, somewhere over here. This one works perfectly. I've been able to run the cable inside this one, no issues. The main one that we're gonna have to use is this one, and that's the first one I wanted to do. I'm gonna think it over and hopefully come up with a solution. So I really struggled, but I managed to do it. The Romex cable is here. You can see the 3 wires running inside this hole that I cut for the electrical box. running all the way up there. In here, you can see it coming down here. It's supposed to be inside this, but who cares? It's back here, and then it goes all the way underneath the bed. Today, it's the real deal. Installing it. Yes. Installing this inside the wall, and then this. Plan for today is finishing up the kitchen with the tiles on the wall and the outlets, making sure the outlets actually work, and then I'll keep working on the electrical, do as much as I can, try to get to the isolator.
It's the first weekend of September. It's a 3-day weekend here in Canada, so we're gonna have plenty of time to do a lot of things this weekend, because in 2 weeks we have our first trip with Mighty.
Yay. It's exciting, but yeah, we have to sort of hurry up, so
yeah.
Let's get to it. Hello, hi. Okay, so working on the electrical. Yesterday what I did was mount the charge controller on the panel right here. So this is where the solar panels are going to be plugged in. The battery is going to be plugged in here. So at least it's in its place right now. The cables are going to run, I think, through this metal channel right here. There's one battery. For now we have one. We might buy a second one in the future, so we'll just leave space for it. This is a lithium 100 amp battery. This one's gonna go all the way at the end. I have secured it with some studs at the back, so it's not moving left and right. It goes like this, and just have to put one screw here, one screw there, and the battery won't move. For now, I have to mount the inverter on this side right here, like this, so it's not in the way and it's not taking too much space, and then wire everything together, and hopefully we'll have power.
I put a lot of paint on that wall, so maybe that's why it didn't stick as well as here, because it was directly on the wood. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use that now, and I'm hoping that with that it was not going to move at all. So we're gonna do that. Okay, for me today, it's time to do the bump out. So you remember the bump out that we did here, that I didn't paint completely because I was going to add something with foam. So What do we have today for the project? The 2 pieces of very thin, like super thin wood that are already cut to the bump out size. So you maybe don't remember, but Tanguy's bump out is bigger than mine, like wider, because here we had like a metal beam here, and here we had like the end of the bed. So it's not going to be very visible, but it's just what it is. 2 pieces of wood, some foam, so very thinner than the one we used for the bench. So the one for the bench was like that, thinner but very compact too. So the idea is to put a piece of foam here, and then on top this beautiful fake fur. I don't know if you can see, it's so soft, it's so nice. So I'm hoping to have enough to do also maybe a little cushion, but for now we're gonna use it on the bump out, because as you remember, the bump out, we're gonna have our head. It's gonna be nicer to touch something soft and mushy with the foam than touching like just wood with paint. So this is today's project. Done. Pretty happy with the results. I already test them and fit them in the bump out that we have, and it's fitting correctly. It's not moving at all, so it's gonna be pretty simple to just glue it, and it should not move at all. So pretty cool. So as you can see, it's not too thick, but when we're gonna put our head on it, it's gonna be soft, it's gonna be comfy. So this is pretty cool. I used first this type of knife here to cut the foam, to cut the fabric also. Then I glued the foam to the piece of wood. So I glued it with the 3M spray. And then I stapled it, same thing that I did for the bench, but I had to use the hammer because the piece of wood that we bought was really more compact, so the staples had a hard time to go in it. So tip to remember next time I'm doing that, maybe to have something less compact, as thin, but maybe easier to staple, because it was a bit hard, and I'm hoping it's not going to pop out at some point. I'm pretty happy with the results, and I'm going to work on the next step.
Show us.
Comfy bump out. Comfy bump out.
I wish the GoPro could make you feel how that's soft and comfy.
Even if it's pretty tight, it will still be, like, maybe you can see, still be nicer than be against like a piece of wood. You see?
So soft.
Can I put the second
one?
So let's do the same thing. Put it here. And like that.
Whoa.
So for now, we're not going to glue them yet. We're gonna see how they react and behave just being like that and us driving. And anyway, if we need to glue it, it's like 2 seconds of sheeting the 2 sides and it's done. So that will be pretty quick if it falls.
Another one in the books. In the next one, we'll start installing our ceiling. But before we do, I have to install the roof rack and the solar panels. It's getting real. Soon, we'll have lights in the van. Exciting, right? As usual, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one.